Hey everybody, this is Birdie Boogie. It is January 21st, 2020, and here is what you might have missed today in the world of professional wrestling. So WrestleCon, of course, has their big convention every year at WrestleMania. They were boasting a huge headliner for Saturday, someone that had never done WrestleCon before, and they definitely did not disappoint with the announcement this morning that Chris Jericho, Le Champion of AEW, will be headlining the Saturday session of WrestleCon. He'll be there, it looks like, from morning to the afternoon, doing both autographs and photo ops. They're not as expensive as you'd actually think they would be. So digital pro photo op is going to cost you $75, while a digital pro photo op with a printed photo is going to cost you $95. And then two autographs from Le Champion is actually going to cost you just $100. Doesn't look like there's any combos. So if you wanted a combination of both an autograph and a photo, you're looking at around $175. But, considering, Jericho has not done many appearances, if any, I think, in the indie scene, or since becoming, independent or with AEW, besides the photo ops that he had on the Jericho cruise. I definitely think, if you were interested in meeting Jericho, if you were interested in getting an autograph from Jericho, this was going to be your best chance to do it. WrestleCon definitely looking stacked so far. They've been releasing new guests every Monday, 10 guests every Monday, and we don't know the Friday headliner yet, but you obviously got to be a little excited for that Friday headliner if Saturdays is going to be Jericho. So we'll have to stay tuned and see who Friday's headliner is going to be. And for the next story, it's someone that can't just stay out of the news. They need to be in the news constantly, and it involves the real one, NZO. So in case you don't follow either Tama Tonga or NZO on Twitter, the two of them have been going back and forth. I guess you could call it feuding. I don't know if you can call it feuding if it's not leading towards an angle, leading towards a match, but the two have been feuding, sending promos to each other back and forth all the way back to April of last year. In case you don't remember, Real One NZO and Big Kaz XL actually stormed the ring at Madison Square Garden during the Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor they did with New Japan. And ever since then, it's just been a feud between NZO and Tama Tonga. They keep saying they're going to do a match. It hasn't happened yet, but it looks like, according to Enzo's promo today, it might be happening soon. So Enzo released a 4-minute promo today on Tama Tonga where he claimed that Josh Barnett and Bloodsport offered him $25,000 to wrestle Tama Tonga. He said he declined, then went on to make a claim that he called the venue that Tama Tonga will be out on Thursday, and there's going to be a ring set up. There's going to be tickets. Currently, as far as I know of, Tama Tonga is not booked for any event on Thursday. He did put in the description of the promo, #WrestleCon Weekend Challenge. So he might possibly be talking about the New Japan Young Lion show or upcoming Rising Lion show that's happening that Thursday. But as far as we know, Tama Tonga has not been announced for that show. But what's interesting, and of course this happens anytime Enzo is in the news, anytime Enzo opens his mouth, everyone has to react. So first, Game Changer Wrestling, who Bloodsport has actually run through, immediately tweets, just to clarify, neither GCW or Josh Barnett have offered Clownzo $25,000 to fight at Bloodsport, appear at any GCW event. In fact, we offered him 1 cent now or ever. Sorry, pal. Along with posting this picture of Enzo with, the clown right above his head. Enzo immediately responded right back and said, "Who the fuck, GC Wrestling? If you're associated with Bloodsport, only one I spoke to that wasn't about cash or an opponent. I told Josh Barnett I respected him, catch wrestling, I dig Bloodsport, and I'd be down to do it, thanks. In the promo, I simply said, fuck Tama Tonga for charity." That is something he did say. He said that he was only going to do this for charity. He's going to donate the $25,000 to suicide awareness and depression. Of course, Joey Janela, who I'm sure has had a running feud with Enzo, along with Tama Tonga, also tweeted out, "Most absurd shit I've ever heard in my life. You grandiose, delusional, broke fuck. If anyone pays you more than $250, they need to be locked away." A couple of laughing emojis. Embarrassing. Here's what I honestly think of this, and let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Let's acknowledge the real one in the room for a moment. Whether you hate Enzo or you love Enzo, anyone would either pay to stream that show or go to that show. Whatever show this ends up happening. Tama Tonga versus Enzo, because, if people love Enzo, they're going to see him in the ring. We know this. But the thing is, I think you're going to get more money from the people that hate Enzo. I mean, this is a very clearly hate Elvis merch situation where how many people are going to go just to watch Enzo get his ass kicked? I think right now, Enzo versus Tama Tonga could honestly be the biggest draw of WrestleMania weekend. I'll be interested to see if WrestleCon's going to do it. I've had a personal theory since the beginning that this is all leading up to possibly the Bullet Club beach party that's happening that Saturday. So I think it's interesting he did mention that Thursday date. But yeah, I think honestly, there's all of these claims that, oh, we wouldn't pay Enzo $250. We wouldn't pay Enzo this amount is ridiculous, because I think at the end of the day, he would make any promotion that he goes to so much money just because people want to watch him get his ass kicked. You could literally release a shirt that says fuck Enzo and it's going to make money. This is a clearly I hate Elvis merch situation, and I think everyone is getting a little bit too into their feelings here on how they feel about Enzo. I think everyone's getting a little bit too worked. It'll be interesting to see if WrestleCon capitalizes on this, if Bullet Club capitalizes on this, because I think at the end of the day, the money is there. And speaking of money, our next two stories involve your favorite, the WWE. So NXT versus NXT UK Worlds Collide 2020. It happens this Saturday and at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. And it looks like we're already actually getting another match announcement. It appears that Kaylee Ray is going to be wrestling Mia Yim on the pre-show. As I'm sure you know, DIY was announced to wrestle Mustache Mountain last week. We also know that Imperium is going to be wrestling Adam Cole. Toni Storm versus NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. And I think a lot of people are going to be upset that Kaylee Ray is wrestling on the pre-show, but I think at the end of the day, no titles are going to change at Worlds Collide. I think everyone's going to keep their titles, so you really need Kaylee Ray, to win, to retain. So I think that's why you have her wrestling against Mia Yim. I have no problem with Mia Yim. I think Mia Yim's a great wrestler, but once again, it comes down to how deep that NXT women's division is. And I think they want to protect people like Bianca Belair, who obviously has a NXT Women's title match coming up at NXT TakeOver Portland. You want to protect someone like Io Shirai, who might be making her main roster debut pretty soon, according to some rumors. So I think Mia Yim is that perfect person that she can lose to Kaylee Ray and it won't affect her very much. It is a shame Kaylee Ray's on the pre-show, but someone has to be. But at the end of the day, I think it's still going to be a great match regardless, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. And our last news today actually involves NXT TakeOver Portland. So Poppy herself actually announced today that she will be returning to NXT for NXT TakeOver Portland. As I'm sure you all remember, Io Shirai had her amazing entrance to Poppy's Scary Mask a few weeks ago, and I definitely think it helps NXT kind of have that big fight feel. It definitely makes them feel important. Poppy is definitely a completely different artist than anyone in the main roster WWE would ever use. I mean, how many times have we seen Flo Rida in the main roster? So I definitely think it's a good call. I mean, Triple H did win the Metal Ambassador from Metal Hammer about a week ago, so I think this is just continuing with that. But yeah, I think it's definitely a good decision, considering that NXT TakeOver Portland is not attached to a WWE main roster pay-per-view. So I think this once again will help it feel important, will definitely get the fans hyped, and I would not be surprised if Poppy's the one starting the show, just like she started that episode of NXT. So yeah, I definitely think this will be interesting. I could take or leave Poppy. I wouldn't listen to her casually, but she definitely made Io Shirai's entrance something. So I think that's going to be interesting to see her once again on that NXT stage, but this time not in Full Sail, but in full takeover. But that is all you might have missed today in the world of professional wrestling on January 21st, 2020. Some big questions I have for you. How do you feel about Enzo versus Tama Tonga? Would you pay to see it? Would you pay to go meet Chris Jericho? And how do you feel about Poppy going to be performing at NXT TakeOver Portland? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with more news. I'm Birdie Boogie, and that was your recap of today in wrestling.